about the anxiety, and I tell you what, I have had anxiety all day long. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I know the medical thing is it used to be taboo, but I do take anxiety medication for panic attacks and that kind of thing. I called my nurse room today and I said, look, I got this thing tonight and I'm really feeling some anxiety. Can I take 2? She says, what milligram are they? So I told her and she said, yeah, you can take 2, but don't you take 3. Or you will be the star of the show because you'll be drooling and falling off the bed. So I did what she said. I only took 2, and I feel pretty good. What made me really anxious was when I found out that they were filming this, because you know the camera adds 10 pounds, and I really don't need any help adding 10 pounds to this frame. I'd be pretty good on my own. I've known for probably 3 or 4 weeks that I was going to do this show, and so I said, well, I need to really lose some weight to do this. But I didn't decide until last Sunday to start losing weight. I was going to start Monday morning, so Sunday I ate everything I could eat. So I wanted to get a good start out of the gate. Monday morning I had me a piece of toast, put me a little peanut butter on it, washed it down with a glass of water. I was feeling good, I was feeling pumped, I was ready, I was determined. And by 10 a.m. I ate a sausage biscuit and 3 hash browns. So, needless to say, I did not lose a pound. I probably gained a couple. So. But anyways, that's not even what I'm supposed to be talking about. My do-over. I told them in our little class that we did on Zoom, I said, look, when I get started, I'm like a Pentecostal preacher. Yeah, I did say that. I'm gonna get long-winded and I'm gonna go on a tangent about something. So, anyways, I actually have a friend that goes to St. Matthew's Episcopal in Charleston, and she invited me. And I grew up Pentecostal, so I can make fun of Pentecostals. And so she invited me to church, and she said, now listen, I'm going to warn you that the service is probably going to be a good long hour. And I said, she doesn't know where I come from. We're Pentecostal. We're not even warmed up in an hour. We haven't even taken up offering. We're just singing worship songs over and over and over again for the whole first hour. So, yeah, an hour-long service is nothing to me. Anyways, what I'm here to talk to you about today is my family. I guess my do-over is more of a do-more. I heard somebody say about spending more time. Well, I never married, and so I spent a lot of time with my mom and dad. And I had the best childhood, the best adulthood, and I had the best parents in the world. And so the thing about our family is that we laughed, and we laughed a lot. We laughed at each other, we laughed at ourselves, we laughed at other people. We were not offended by anything. As a matter of fact, we were probably the offenders at times. My dad, one thing that we laughed about my dad is he couldn't hear good. And we're not laughing about the fact that he's practically deaf. We're laughing about the effects of him being practically deaf. He would either not hear you at all, or he would completely misunderstand what you say and say something crazy off the wall. Now, my mom, on the other hand, would use words in a sentence that don't even make sense in that sentence. It's not even what it means, but it was just her thing. So I remember I had a lymph node in my neck that I had to have removed, and it turned out benign. Everything was good. Well, about a year later, it came back, and so I had gone to the doctor, and they had said, well, you know, it's probably not anything, but let's check it. Let's do a biopsy next week. So I said, okay. So I went home that night, and I told my mom what was going on. I went on to my room, and I heard her on the phone with my brother. And the conversation went something like, well, that thing in her neck is back. Yeah, but they're going to check it out. They're going to do an autopsy next week. I'm not going if they're doing an autopsy. I'm getting a second opinion. The first time, I used to be a morning show host in a radio station in the upstate, which is where I'm from. Y'all can probably tell by the way I'm talking that I'm from the country, but I'm not from the low country. I did a morning show, and so we got a call one day about a comedian that was going to be at the Civic Center, and they were wanting me to come and open up and kind of introduce the comedian, so I did. And that night, I just completely railed on my mom for like 10 minutes of just little funny stories about her. And I thought it was great. And the crowd loved it, everybody was laughing, I was happy. I thought right then, I'm going to be a comedian. I can do this, I can do this. And so after the show, I went and sat down behind my mom and dad in the audience, and I leaned up to my mom and I said, well, what'd you think? Did you think I was funny? And she looked at me with this kind of scowl on her face, and she said, I didn't think it was a bit funny. I looked over at my dad, and I said, well, Dad, what'd you think? He said, I didn't hear a word you said. I do have one more funny story for you, but I'm going to tell you this really quick. So in 2018, my mom took care of my dad, and she was not the one who was really, they were both up in age, but she was not the one who was really unhealthy. My father was, but my mom had a stroke out of nowhere. And I shouldn't have told the story. It took a lot from us, from our family. And so we spent about 3 weeks in the hospital with her. We had to make a decision to take her off life support. Hardest thing that we ever had to do. So the day we took her off life support, she held on for like a day and a half. And the next day, my dad was just exhausted. He was 83 years old. He was exhausted. He couldn't really hold his head up. So we made the decision for my brother and my sister-in-law to take him home and let him get some rest. So I stayed there with Mom. And she raised me on gospel music. We love gospel music. And so I turned gospel music on my phone, and I put it beside her. And we just sat there in a dimly lit hospital room, and I held her hand while she took her last breath on this side of heaven, you know? So, about a year later, my dad passed away, and we really believed that it was from a broken heart. And so, 3 days before he passed, I had to get him out of the hospital and take him to a facility that was going to help him transition back home. And we went to Bojangles, and he wanted to get a biscuit and coffee, so we did. And we got the biscuit and the coffee, and I was going to take him to the facility. I was starting to leave out, and he said, let's just pull over here and sit in the sunshine for a while. So we did. We pulled over, and we sat there, and we talked for a little bit. And 3 days later, he passed away. And so, and it's been tough. It's been really tough. And I wanted to do something to honor my folks that was something personal to me. And so I got these tattoos right here. And this one is a letter from my mom. It says, I just want the best for you. I want you to be happy because I love you with all my heart. And this is written in her handwriting. And then on this side is my dad, and it's a sunshine, and it says, I am because you were. Let's sit in the sunshine a while. So that's how I honor my mom and dad. So, I want to say this really quick, and then I'm going to tell you one more really quick funny story because I want to leave you on a high note. Love your family, love your friends, love those who love you, love yourself, and love this life because we only got one. So let's make the best of it. So let's remember that. All right, I want to tell this because I've been wrong often. To be honest with you, I've been holding my gut in the whole time I've been when we were kids, we lived in a little square 4-room house on the Seneca Mill Hills. Anybody familiar with the upstate of South Carolina? I know there's probably some Tiger fans in here, right? So I come from a little place called Seneca. I'm almost done. I know that's a dinner bell. I'm almost done. So usually I run when the dinner bell because I love to eat. But anyways, so Mom and Dad were very frugal with their money. My dad was just plain out cheap. We'll just say that. And so they didn't like to leave the lights on in the house. So we'd gone out to eat one night. We came back. Mom took off in the house we pulled the driveway. Mom got out of the car, took off in the house to go ahead and get some lights on and all that stuff. And that was the time when you didn't have to you didn't have to lock your door, everything, you didn't worry about it. So Mom goes in the house, and instead of going into the living room to turn the light on, she takes a ride into the bedroom. Well, there's a street lamp outside the front of that house that shows a little bit of light into that front room. It just illuminates it just enough to be able to see where to walk and that kind of thing. So mom's in the house, dad's getting us out, and mom starts screaming at the top of her lungs. She is screaming at my dad. My dad's name's Sam, and she's going, Sam, get in here, there's a woman in the house. I'm telling you, there's a woman in the house, get in here. So dad leaves us, and he runs in the house, and of course we jump out and we follow him. And when dad turns the corner and he gets into the bedroom, he sees the woman, and he sees mom, and mom's just screaming. Everybody's frozen with fear. So dad looks back at the woman, and he looks back at mom, and he grabs mom, and he says, calm down, stop screaming, you're looking in the mirror.